To the chairman, to the man who built an empire while everybody else was complaining about the economy. My brothers, you have to know how to play the game.
You have to know how to play the game, my friend. You keep your head down, keep your assets quiet, and you wait for the right moment to emerge. And your wife, chairman, does she know you are the king of Lekki now?
The heat in the apartment was a living thing. It crawled over Zainab's skin, thick and suffocating because the generator had been silent for 3 days. In the dim light of a rechargeable lamp, she stirred a small pot of plain rice. No meat, no fish, just the scent of salt and steam. Zainab, is the food ready? Tunde's voice drifted from the tiny living room, sounding hollow and defeated. Almost, Tunde, she called back, wiping sweat from her eyes with her wrapper. Tunde walked into the kitchen, his shirt stained with the day's Lagos dust. He looked like a man who had been crushed by the city.
I went to 3 places today, Z. Nothing. They said the economy is too tight. My engineering degree is just a piece of paper now.
Zainab turned, her heart breaking for him. It's okay, Tunde. We still have each other. Look,
I sold my last gold necklace today. The one my mother gave me for our wedding.
Tunde stopped, his eyes widening.
You sold the gold? Zainab, I told you I would find a way.
We could not wait for a wait, Tunde. The landlord was at the door this morning. He was ready to put the children's school bags in the street.
This money will cover the rent and 3 months of school fees. We can breathe again. Tunde took her hand, her palms rough.
You are too good for me, Z. I promise you, when I get back on my feet, I will buy you a mountain of gold.
Zainab smiled, believing every word. She didn't mind the heat or the hunger, as long as they were fighting the bankruptcy together.
6 months passed. The bankruptcy continued, or what Tunde called the bankruptcy. But Tunde was away more often, claiming he was consulting for small firms to keep the lights on. He never brought home much cash, just enough for basic groceries, always complaining that the clients were delaying payment. One Thursday, while Tunde was out, Zainab decided to deep clean their cramped storeroom. Hidden behind a stack of old newspapers, she found his heavy leather jacket, the one he said he'd sold to a roadside tailor months ago to buy the children's medicine.
Why would he lie about selling this?
She whispered to herself. She picked it up to hang it properly, but something heavy clinked in the inner lining. Her fingers traced a hard rectangular shape. She reached into a secret pocket and pulled out a pouch made of velvet. Inside was a heavy brass keycard and a gold-embossed card that felt like a piece of jewelry. The Azure Boutique Hotel and Suites, Lekki Phase 1. Beneath the logo, in bold, arrogant letters, it read, Tunde Balogun, founder and chairman. The room felt like it was spinning. Zainab sat on a dusty crate, the gold card shaking in her hand. The Azure was the talk of Lagos. The Azure. She knew the name. Everyone in Lagos knew the name. A 5-star glass palace that had opened 6 months ago. The exact 6 months of Tunde's deepest, most convincing bankruptcy. She had read about it in a Sunday supplement, admired its photograph, said to a colleague, imagine the kind of man who builds something like that.
Chairman. Founder.
She looked at the key card again. This wasn't a guest key. It was a master access card engraved with his initials, T.O.B. Zainab didn't call him to argue. She didn't send a WhatsApp message. She remembered the domestic justice lessons from her mother. Never show your hand until the trap is set. She spent 3 days watching him more carefully than she had watched anyone in her life. She confirmed what she needed to confirm. His pattern, his Thursday evenings, the hotel's public profile, the name of its general manager from a business magazine. She was thorough. She was unhurried. She was becoming someone she had not needed to be in 12 years of marriage.
She went to her sister's house, borrowed a high-end lace outfit and a designer bag, and tied her headgear so perfectly it looked like a crown. She looked like the woman she used to be before the bankruptcy stole her glow. She took an Uber to Lekki. As the car pulled up to the Azure, her jaw dropped. It was a palace of glass and white marble. A fountain danced in the driveway, and porters in gold-trimmed uniforms opened doors for celebrities and politicians. She walked to the front desk. The receptionist looked at her with instant respect.
Welcome to the Azure, madame. How may I help you today?
Zainab didn't blink. She slid the master key card across the marble counter.
I am here for my husband, the chairman.
The receptionist's eyes went wide. Ah, Madame Balogun, we've heard so much about you. The chairman is currently on the rooftop lounge. He's celebrating the close of a new deal with his partners. Should I page him? No, Zainab said, her voice dropping to a dangerous low hum. I want to surprise him. The elevator ride to the penthouse felt like an eternity. When the doors opened, the sound of jazz and clinking crystal hit her. The rooftop was an oasis of blue pools and white leather sofas. And there he was. Tunde was sitting at a long table overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. He wasn't wearing the dusty shirt from the kitchen. He was in a bespoke Italian suit. On the table were bottles of vintage champagne, platters of lobster and imported caviar.
To the chairman, to the man who built an empire while everybody else was complaining about the economy. My brothers, you have to know how to play the game.
You have to know how to play the game, my friend. You keep your head down, keep your assets quiet, and you wait for the right moment to emerge. And your wife, chairman, does she know you are the king of Lekki now?
And Zainab?
Zainab is a good woman, but she has a small mind, my friend. She's happy as long as the rent is paid. If I tell her about all this, she'll want to give it all to family and charity. This is my sweat, my secret.
Is that so, Tunde? The table went silent. Tunde's glass froze halfway to his lips. He turned slowly, his face going from a healthy tan to the color of wet ash. Zainab? Zainab walked to the head of the table. She didn't look at the partners. She looked at the man she had sold her mother's gold for. The small-minded wife is here, Tunde, she said, her voice projecting across the entire lounge.
I came to see the government project that kept you away from your family for weeks. I did not know project was a 5-star hotel.
Built with the savings you claimed we didn't have. Tunde scrambled to his feet, knocking over a chair.
Z, let us go downstairs. I can explain. This is a partnership arrangement. I was going to surprise you with all of this, I swear.
With what? A room in the attic? She snapped. She turned to the investors. Gentlemen, I hope your contracts are tight because every kobo used to build this hotel came from marital accounts. While I was frying puff-puff in a hot kitchen to pay our children's fees, this man was diverting our life savings into this marble floor.
Zainab, stop this now. You are embarrassing me in front of my partners, please.
Trying to grab her arm. She pulled away, her eyes flashing like lightning. You embarrassed yourself the moment you let your children eat plain rice while you were eating lobster. You embarrassed yourself when you watched me sell my inheritance to pay a landlord you could have bought 10 times over. She pulled the brass key from her bag and dropped it into his full glass of champagne. Clink. She said, I am filing for an immediate freeze of all Azure accounts today. You wanted a secret life, Tunde? Now you can have one, but you'll be living it in that one-room apartment we started in because this hotel belongs to the woman who actually paid for it. The investors shifted uncomfortably as Zainab spoke, detailing every kobo of missing money that had built the very chairs they were sitting on. I was going to bring you here, Zainab, Once the debt was cleared, Tunde pleaded, his voice high and desperate. "You cried for me in the dark, didn't you, Tunde?" she asked, a terrifying smile touching her lips. "I felt you watching me sleep. I felt your guilt, but you didn't give me a glass of water. You didn't give me a kobo for the children. You kept your diamonds in your pocket while we ate dust." She turned to the lead investor. "My lawyer is downstairs with an injunction. This hotel was built on the theft of my children's future and my mother's legacy. Either the chairman steps down and transfers 60% of the holding to a trust for our children, or we let the press know that the Azor was built on a foundation of drugged sleep and stolen gold." The silence that followed was absolute. Tunde looked at his lobster, then at the oil-stained hand of the woman who had saved his life a dozen times. "Z, please," Tunde said. "Don't call me Z," she whispered, leaning in close so only he could hear. "To you, I am the bank that just closed its doors. Enjoy your champagne, Tunde. It's the last glass you'll ever drink on my account." The legal process was not instant. It was not cinematic. It took 11 months, 4 court appearances, 2 mediations, and the kind of patience that is really just grief wearing sensible shoes. The financial forensics confirmed what Zainab had already known. 14 million naira in documented transfers from their joint accounts into the hotel's development company over 3 years. Her lawyer filed the petition. The courts moved slowly and then all at once. Moral lesson. A man who hides his harvest from the one who planted the seeds in the rain does not deserve to eat the fruit in the sun. Trust is the only currency that matters in a marriage. Once you bankrupt that, no amount of gold can make you rich again. Justice may move slowly, but it always finds the keys to the rooms you try to lock it out of.
We are so close to 1,000 family members. Join our family. Hit that subscribe button. Mama told me stories. Sit close. Another story is coming.